Hello everyone, today we are going to work on a pen pal letter, and this is writing back to Maya. I believe this is my second letter between us. She is a fairly new pen pal-y, and I actually got to meet her in person very recently, which was very nice and cool and fun, and that was awkward. Anyways, I'll tell you my process on how I do these letters. So first and foremost, I will start on the letter itself. I believe it is the most requiring task to do. I want to make sure I do it well, and I want to make sure I do it, of course. And I just think it's the most time-consuming thing to do. So what I'll do with this is I will decorate first. The reason why I decorate first is because I want to have larger chunks of cute decorations on my letters generally, and if I write my letter first, it's kind of hard to predict out where I want my things and what will fit in that space that I've tried to save. So I just think it's a little easier saving time by decorating first and not having to worry about it later. And I will also decorate the front and back of the first page, and then possibly the front of another page, maybe more, depending on how long the letter I received was. This one was actually a pretty short one, so I only decorated one front and back, and then later you'll see me decorate a front of the second page, I believe. When I get to the writing section in my pen pal letter conglomerating, I don't know. When I get to the writing section though, I do not read my letter thoroughly until I am ready to write back. And I hope that made sense, but the reason why I do this is because I can give a more genuine response when I read the letter as I'm writing it and the information is new and fresh. Let's see if I can give you an example. Maybe someone is talking to me about their job, some gossip about their job, because we all like gossip, or just like complaining about it, I don't know. And so if some stuff's going on with work and they want me to react it, well, not necessarily them wanting me to react in a certain way, I want to react in a genuine way. So if I already know ahead of time that they have work problems, like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that work isn't going well, I hope things get better, that's not a very sincere response. Like, yes, it is true, I hope things do get better, but it's not what it would be like if I was actually talking to them in person. So let's say I am reading and writing the letter at the same time. I get to the part where they're talking about how crazy stuff is happening at their workplace. I can more genuinely respond, damn, that's happening to you? That's crazy. Your manager is wild. I don't know. But like, to me, if I was reading a letter, I'd rather have that kind of response than like a mechanical, pre-thought out response. And I think it shows more of my personality and who I am and the kind of person that they are writing to. It's more close to having an in-person conversation, in my opinion. Also, with that, sometimes you do have sections in letters where you're not really sure how to respond, and with that, I do not pressure myself with trying to respond in order of how they write to me, I guess. Sometimes it does help making sure that you haven't talked about or skipped a section that they tell you about. But if like maybe they tell me some sad news, maybe their cat died recently, maybe I'll push that later into the letter so I have a better response. Something that is more true to how I want to convey my thoughts about it, I guess. Yeah, it's just, I want these letters to match up as close as possible to a real conversation that we might be having if we were face to face in person. And I think waiting to read your letter until you are writing your letter is a more genuine way, like I keep saying. And I think also giving space to let yourself think about how you want to respond is I guess more genuine way. It's yeah, we'll say it is. I do like to, even though I did say just a moment ago that I take breaks sometimes if I need to and I don't know what to say, I do like to try to write my letter in one sitting. That way I, first of all, remember everything that I have written and need to respond to. And I think if I do it in one sitting, I have a better flow in writing. I can just sit down and get into the mindset of, yes, I'm having a conversation with my pen pal Amaya. And sometimes if you're like stopping and starting and stopping and starting, it's really choppy and not smooth in a way that you'd like it. After I write my letter, I will check the envelope for anything else that I need to respond to. Generally, that would include a questions page. And you can see me here, I am responding to some questions that Amaya has sent me. I want to make sure that I respond to pretty much, I think those are the two main important ones, are is the letter, make sure I respond to the letter, of course, and then questions or any other little tidbits that need a response to. Part of this letter that Amaya sent me was asking for a new recipe, and so that is what I'm going to do right here. This is a pork chop recipe that my boyfriend actually really loves, and so I decided to share that because I had cooked it recently. And I did a really bad job writing the instructions on this first side, so I tried rewriting them again on the second side. I hope they were easy enough to follow, and I hope she enjoys the recipe. We'll see what she says about it later. Also, you'll see me in a moment right here. I will write my own question page. I almost always do this unless I forget to. Sometimes thinking of the questions is hard to do, but I think it's nice and interactive, and it's easy ways to get to know your person without getting into a whole conversation. The next thing that I'm working on here is a little zine for Amaya. She has talked about getting into junk journaling, but hasn't really done it, and I think that is a complete shame. So I'm giving her this little zine as an opportunity to test it out. I think junk journaling is really fun. It's an expression of your soul, and here on my page I am all about expressing your soul. But zines are really easy to look up on how to do. It's spelled Z-I-N-E, and I'll probably include a tutorial video on this later on my channel, so you can probably find that eventually. But I'm just going to decorate this front page really fast. Also, side note, in the magazines that I get, J's are extremely hard to find. I have so many of the other letters, but I have only had 2 J's in like the 3 months that I've been collecting magazine letters. Anyways, back to what I was doing. I'm making this little zine for Amaya to junk herself, and I'm going to decorate the front. And I think it just says like junk this zine or something, and I make it cute and all that good stuff. But what I'll do on the inside is I'm going to provide her prompts so that she doesn't have to think about what to do, because sometimes that's annoying and we don't want thinking to get in the way of the creative process. I wouldn't imagine myself saying that, but I guess I have said that. So I think some of the prompts are like all about Amaya, or favorite color, or pets, or new hobbies, things like that. They can be super easy. There are no rules to junk journaling. I do it myself, and I kind of do it in a diary sense. Like I will decorate. It's like more it's more like memory keeping than it is just like creative stuff. I don't know what I'm saying, guys. But this is a little sneak peek of what she could be doing. And this way she doesn't have to go out and buy a whole new journal. She doesn't have to buy a whole bunch of new supplies because this is small. And the smaller things are, the less supply you need. And I know she's got some stuff already because she pen pals me. And yeah, this is just like a nice little introductory way to get into junk journaling, and I definitely plan on including these in other pen pal letters because a lot of the girls that I talk to are interested in junk journaling but just haven't done it. And this could be something that you include with your pen pals. I don't know. Apparently I spend a lot of time on this. But it's cool. You guys can watch me decorate and all that good stuff. I really love when my pen pals send me kind of unique things that I can do. Sometimes I get coloring pages. I have yet to color any of them, but I have a little stack that I do want to color. Sometimes I like to send out word searches, or the zine is something that I'm going to start sending out to some of the girls. And I don't know, just like super fun things that are kind of unique and that I can do. It's nice getting things that I can look at, but I think it's a little better when it's something that I can use or create in or something like that. I kind of make a mental list of what I want to make sure that I send my pen pal, and those were the main things: the letter, the questions response, the recipe, and the little zine. After that, I find like the ephemera and the memos and stickers and tapes and stuff that I might also like to send them. This is like the very last step generally in packing my envelope. That's because these are less important in my opinion. They're fun to receive, but also I don't have to put as much effort in. If I needed to earlier, I can take a break and come back to doing that. The very last thing that I do is decorate my envelope. And the reason for this is I want to make sure everything that I send, the letter, my scraps of paper or little memos and whatnot, and the envelope all match in the same energy and vibe, and that when Amaya receives this, she'll know, oh, I'm gonna have a orange and yellow letter today from Michaela. And I don't know, I just like to do the envelope last personally. I use lots of different materials in decorating my envelope and my letters and my journal and all that good stuff. I try to keep this as inexpensive as possible, just because I don't have the highest budget. I am a part-time worker and I am a student, so I don't have a lot of extra money to spend. I get things from my parents' recycling, more specifically magazines. I love magazines. I get things from secondhand stores, so thrift stores, creative reuse stores, sometimes Facebook Marketplace. I still have to pay for it, but it's much cheaper than retail price. And I use things from my pen pals. Pen pals are always a great source for cute things. And then I also like to use things from events. So like that bingo ticket that you see, I went to bingo night with my mom. I didn't have to pay for that, and I got a lot of those. But yes, I am all about keeping it as inexpensive as possible, and also trying to use as much as I can of the things that I have, so there's very minimal waste. Here in a moment when I flip it over, you'll see that I decorated this upside down. My bad. But you know what? That's okay. Sometimes things happen, and this makes this letter unique. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not even going to worry because it's just an envelope. It might be something she keeps around, but she'll know, oh yeah, I got this cute upside down envelope one time. After those paper scraps, I go in with my stickers. I love my stickers, especially the deco stickers, but I don't think I use any of those on pen pal letters just because those are very prone to falling off. And then I'll write her name for the letter, make sure it matches, because that's what we're all about. And then I believe that's really close to what I do. I will, of course, put the addresses on, but I won't do that in this video because of privacy things. And when I stuff it, I will also weigh my letters. I have a cooking scale that I weigh so I don't have to take it into the post office and have them weigh it and just deal with that. I can just weigh it here, put the stamps on that are needed, and then just drop it off in my mailbox. I think that's really convenient, and I don't use my cooking scale for anything else, so might as well use it for this. But yeah, that is essentially the process that I go through when I do a pen pal letter, and I'm sure you'll see more of these. I know this was a very fast-paced video. I wasn't expecting it to be this fast, but it happened. I'll have more, don't worry. Hopefully that are slower paced. I am going to pretty much leave you off with this. I'm going to advertise myself first. Please like, follow, subscribe, whatnot, comment. Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching me pack this pen pal letter for my friends, and I hope it finds her well. Yeah, I'll say goodbye. Bye!